Reggie. Hi.
Yes, what's up?
Welcome.
Welcome.
Well, I say welcome. It's your place.
Yeah, but still
I
welcome for you that you are here.
Reggie, what is it that we are doing here? This is the start of a new thing, a podcast. We originally planned to call it Unplugged.
Yep.
The realest, real talk, detailing talk there ever is, was, and will be, and is. But we then had an epiphany, because Labo Cosmetica, who presents this podcast, has a product that is called
Veritas.
which is Latin and stands for
Truth.
the truth. And we thought that's a perfect name. We have to switch our idea, and now the podcast is called Veritas.
Good.
The truth, and just the truth. And that's what we want to try to achieve with this podcast, because we think it is about time and it is necessary that someone starts telling the truth and saying things directly, because there are many absolutely fantastic car detailing podcasts out there.
Absolutely.
We could name many.
Absolutely.
But sometimes we feel that some people hold back intentionally just to not stir up controversy.
Yeah, maybe by the fear of losing subscribers
Or getting sued or whatever.
Yeah.
And we said, let's fuck that fear. If someone wants to sue us, then go ahead. Maybe we are starting fresh, so we can't lose any subscribers. So that's why we said we will be the ones who stir up controversy in order to make things better. And we will tell the story how this podcast came about, because it is a story that started with controversy and ended, we think, in a good thing.
I think so, yes. We had a fantastic week so far. We have done effectively so much work in so little amount of time, even with the Italian culture of organizing stuff and having the times and everything. But we managed to do, it's like back in military, you know. It's very effective working this week.
Exactly.
Very effective.
But in order for the listeners and the viewers, because we're doing this podcast as a video, in order for them to understand us as persons and maybe what we say a little bit better, we thought that we first introduce ourselves in episode 0, and then we will start with the actual controversial topics.
I think that's a good idea.
And so I would say let's introduce you first, and you can tell the people who you are, how old are you, what have you done in your life that you're proud of, maybe not proud of, what are the cars you drive or drove, and what you have to do with detailing.
Okay, let's don't do the things that I'm not proud of, because that list is longer than the things that I'm proud of. So people that know me know this is the absolute veritas, the absolute truth. So for the people watching or listening, my name is Reggie Cox. I'm 41 years old. I'm the International Training Manager and Senior Product Development for Labo Cosmetica. My journey, let's say the journey of detailing started with the first time I ever did my first before and after on a set of Corona rims on my uncle's El Camino 72. That before after was actually what kicked off the journey that I'm still in today.
Wait. The 72 El Camino, is that the one that was in a movie?
I don't think so. I've seen it in some movies, but it's the pickup. It's the 2-seater pickup, the El Camino.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool car.
Yeah, that's true, but a very strange color. It was a little bit pinky purple, but that was the choice of my aunt. And that situation really kicked off what I'm still doing right now. It's basically the only thing that I can keep my interest in the same amount of passion that I had. I get bored very fast. Doing the same job all over the same time is something that my mind cannot comprehend. So 9-to-5 job is not me. And the detailing is really something, and I'm saying that, let's say it started in 96. Excuse me. In 96 it started, and it's still ongoing. I've dropped the title of what is called Master Detailer, because I watch a lot of anime, and when a samurai master in anime is, then he's done teaching. It's done. There's nothing to add. If you've mastered the skill of a samurai, you're not going to reinvent something. You are the master, the absolute pinnacle. And in this world, in this detailing, every 2 years something is changing. Either the chemicals are changing, the paints are changing. Something is going to change what makes you turn into a detective again to find out what is the best way to clean, to perform, or to recondition the car that you are working on.
And in order to start the main topic of this podcast, there are already enough masters in this industry, either self-proclaimed or hyped up. Yeah. Maybe
think
that's a good topic for a future podcast.
Yeah, I understand, of
that's
course,
a
the
good
marketing point of view to emphasize that this person is very skilled, but I would rather be called an experienced expert,
Yeah.
somebody from a long journey,
Yeah.
and by experience, basically what I mean by experience is I have made a lot of mistakes.
Exactly.
Maybe let's say it's 10,000 mistakes, and you can always make mistakes. That's how you learn. You make a mistake, you see how what went wrong, so you can improve and make it better, or don't make the mistake again.
And experience doesn't mean anything else than you know how to avoid those mistakes.
Exactly.
by now.
That you don't do the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
That's the evolution. That's learning. My jobs, well, I got 2 lists. I got warehousing, I got transportation, I got sanitizing, I got outside working. I got my resume is extremely wide, but I spent most of my time. The one job that I spent most of my time is the military, from 2001 to 2012 officially. That's why I basically got my experience. I only had high school and did 2 tours in Afghanistan, one in 2006, one in 2007.
Wow.
In between all those years, let's say I've not been detailing nonstop 24/7 for the last 24 years. It's the breaks in between. It's the hobby that has always been developing, starting with a bottle of turtle wax, 1 bottle of turtle wax per car and 2,500 towels to get it off.
1 bottle per car.
Yes, I was then in the time when I can only see gloss and no gloss. Literally, it shines or it didn't shine. And so Turtle Wax was very happy with me. It was every week I was at the shop buying a new bottle.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, the effect when you remove, I guess it was the green bottle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Turtle Wax nano hard shell, it's called. When you remove that stuff, yeah, you think you see gloss. Because it's that chalky white residue, and then if you remove that, yes, of course, you will see gloss.
Very good before and after with that white.
Yeah.
After the military stopped in 2012, I quit. I spent some time in a car wash, professional car wash. Worked there for 3 years. Started as an employee, became a manager in 3 months, and got my own car wash, 60-meter tunnel. And the year after, to build it together with my then employer. And that was purely, my interest for detailing was very high, and I was very curious how the car wash industry was working. We as detailers always say we don't need to go through the car wash, or it's better not to go through the car wash. Well, many people say don't go through the car wash. That's absolutely true if you want to preserve the aesthetics as you have them. But in fact, if you look at the amount of cars there are and the amount of detailers, even if all the detailers took over all the car washes, not even all the cars could be washed every week. Because
true.
Our machine could do 120 cars in an hour.
And you just gave me an idea for a future episode, very controversial. It's better to go through a good car wash than through a bad hand wash routine.
Oh, well, definitely.
That's a good
one. That's definitely.
We'll talk about that.
We will get a hardcore debate about that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hardcore. That's a very good subject. When that finished, I found myself in, then my friends from the Chemical Guys EU to work there, what we call in the Netherlands in Blue Monday, about 6 months.
That was the European import distributor for Chemical Guys. Okay, I see.
That was a Blue Monday, like 6 months. After that, I refigured my life and say, okay, there's a certain principle that I want to uphold. From this point on, I just want to do what my life needs to be doing. So I put all my life goals on a piece of paper, including the most beautiful one, having my son, Lev, today 6 years old. And this was the ultimate achievement. And then finding something that I could do, that even if they didn't pay me, I would still do. And this is how, through those Chemical Guys video, Marco, the CEO from Labo Cosmetica, found this video, saw this video, and he saw this guy might have the potential that I'm looking for. Somehow I ended up here with a couple of friends of mine to see some demonstrations. That ended up in 2018, me spending here a full week with the entire team, experience how they work, seeing what the Italian culture is about, seeing what Labo Cosmetica is all about. And that ended up in a job interview that ended up into a contract that sent me all over the world to represent Labo Cosmetica and share the philosophy.
Cool.
And that's basically where we are today. I took a break in the COVID area, sabbatical, so to speak. I did still do the help and the support for all the Labo Cosmetica, but there was no traveling. So I spent 1 full year in the body shop of my brother-in-law to go even deeper and understand more about the substrate that we actually know very little about, in fact, if you look at it scientifically. And that ended up now in 2024, where I'm sitting next to you, having this podcast, which is actually a brilliant idea. because we're going to kick up some dust, so to speak. We're going to
Going to ruffle some feathers, yeah.
For if you get offended by anything I say, please, I'm a very religious man. I wish you all the best. I wish you God's love and all the happiness that you can get. It's never my intention to hurt your feelings. If your feelings are hurt, there are people that can help you. Antidepressives, psychologists, your wife. There's many things that you can do.
It already starts.
Yeah.
I already see the lawsuits flying in.
Yeah, and we are going to discuss the controversial things based on our own opinion, based on our own experience,
Yes,
based
absolutely.
on what we have seen in the market.
Absolutely.
That's enough about me. For the most people.
No. Your cars.
Oh, the cars. The
People,
cars.
detailers always want to know about your
That's
cars.
absolutely
what
true.
do you drive now? What have you driven? Is there anything
Currently,
special?
I am an anti-money guy. I don't like money. I'm not a materialistic guy. I really love cars. I really love the cars that are very expensive, but I'm also a Dutch guy, so maintenance, if it's too expensive for me, it's not worth it. I'll probably not drive the car and just look at it from a distance when it's perfectly detailed. But I basically bought all the cars from my youth. So the Golf 2 GTI, 8-valve, a G60. I had a Golf 3 variant with a G60 engine in it.
No.
I've had a Mercedes 190e 2.3, not the 16-valve, but
Not the Evo, I guess.
No, definitely not. Not the one just below the Evo. I've had a Corrado G60. I've had VR6, some BMW E30, 1.6, basically all of them. I finished the last one. It was the last two cars I owned was the Audi A8 D2, one in black, one in green.
And you said the inspiration for that came from two movies, right?
Yes, Ronin and Transporter. And especially in Ronin, when I saw that car and seeing it in real life with the price tag that it had back in the 90s was unpayable. Even if I started saving, then it was like 5 years' salaries, one car. So you are 25 years later, and now they cost very little to not very much. Even if you have a decent one, it doesn't have to be very expensive. It's the most reliable car I've ever had. The Quattro is unbelievably good. The engine was unbelievably good. Both of them, the 2.8 and the 4.2. And that ended up last year when I was driving in the Netherlands and I was looking for something even more comfortable. 41, ladies and gentlemen, it's starting to feel a little bit here and a little bit here. So I was looking for something that I love or I really wanted to have, but I had no idea what the prices and everything. So I started looking for a Phaeton.
VW Phaeton.
Yes,
was
sir.
that ever available in the US, that car?
I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea if that car ever went
Good
there.
question. So if the US guys don't know it, it basically was an Audi A8 in a VW Volkswagen dress, right? Yeah.
With a lot of Bentley stuff on it. So
Yes,
it's
also.
many
True.
Bentley looking. So it's basically a cheap Bentley from Volkswagen.
Yes.
And
It aged very well, the design.
I have the 3.2 VR6 in it
Nice.
with the GPL or LPG tank extra. So it's going to cost me a little bit less in the fuels.
Yeah.
Air suspension. This is the cheapest car that I'm going to lower. My last AP suspension set was 750 euros with discount from my friend. This car I'm going to lower 7 centimeters for, let up, ladies and gentlemen, 144 euros and 1 hour of work. Dutch guy, can't debate about that, but that's going to be very cheap. I'm going to trick the aromatic suspension to think that it's at a certain height, but we are going to change koppelstangen, the brushes that in between. They're making them a little bit shorter or a little bit longer to see how car. They say it's 7 centimeters on the front axle, 8 centimeters on the back axle, 21 inch to go under, because I got 20 inch on it right now and it looks like 19 visually, but it is actually 20. So I have to drive 21 to make it look like 20.
Absolutely.
Found some Eta Betas, going to put them on, and that's the car that I'm happily going to drive home tomorrow again.
And I have to say, I've been driving with you the last couple of days. That car suits you. It really does suit you in a very strange way. Because the Phaeton was not a very popular car.
No.
It was something that VW just wanted to make.
Yeah.
And so they aged well. They are very cheap. And not a lot of people drive them with confidence. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You sitting in that car with your Labo Cosmetica sunglasses, you feel it. You love it. You have the passion for it. That it suits you perfectly.
I think it's because of the people that I have in the maintenance, in the electronics, in the rims, in anything car related. I got so many friends in the network, so having them behind me, I mean, if this car had to go to the Volkswagen dealership every single time it needs a service, I probably would not have owned it. You know, it has a typical Volkswagen thingy. There's a engine light, sometimes blinking. you know, it does that, but the car runs fine. So I'll take it. That is a little bit part of Volkswagen. But enough about me. I want to introduce this guy right next to me, because this story, that's why we are here together today, is already beautiful. But let him introduce himself, who he is, where he's from, what car he's owning, because there will be some special cars, and how he got into detailing, because that story is beautiful.
Exactly. So my name is Andreas. I was born in Austria and living in Switzerland for the last 30 years. My last name is Schwarzinger. It's not Schwarzenegger, despite I'm being from Austria, so I'm not that guy. I'm definitely not as big and as muscular as he is. I have a similar accent though, so close enough. I grew up in Switzerland. I studied business administration and marketing at the University of Zurich. I did internships at BMW in Munich in the strategic marketing and product development department of Mini. That was a very good 6 months. I also did an internship at the Boston Consulting Group, so that's my, let's say, educational, professional background. Then from university, I started what I'm doing until today, which is running Switzerland's biggest, most relevant online student platform. So students can go there, they register, and they exchange exams, they exchange tips on which courses to take, and they find jobs there. That's how I earn my money.
Oh, nice.
So detailing is definitely not my main job. Maybe that's a topic for a future podcast.
Maybe, yes.
Yours isn't neither, and we both said detailing is not our dream job, despite us being in the detailing industry. That's
true.
an interesting topic, maybe. So how did I come into detailing? I was stupid enough, that's one of the cars I owned, to buy a Mercedes C63, it was the S205, in a matte silver paint. Absolutely stunning car to look at. I was falling in love with it the first time I saw it, then got it, and then as an afterthought, I said, wait, matte paint, wait. Then I started to type into Google how to care for matte paint, and then all the horror stories came up. Don't go into car washes. Yeah. Don't wash it with wash and wax shampoos. Don't polish it. You will ruin it. You will lose the value. All the horror stories. So I got myself even further into it. I started reading, and then someone said, you have to buy the Swiss Wax Opaque Kit. Swiss Wax Opaque Kit consists of a wax, a shampoo, a quick detailer, and they ask a shitload of money for it.
It's a very expensive kit.
A shitload of money for it, for not a lot of product. And then I thought, no, that cannot be true. My critical thinking heart cannot accept that. So I bought a regular car shampoo, I bought a wash and wax, I bought a regular quick detailer, all the spray waxes there, and then I started testing. Just applied it to my own car. See, I washed it a couple of times and nothing changed. Nothing's changed.
I remember you saying that one time you even applied it how many times after
50.
each
50. I taped off one door to have a clear test section, and I washed over it 50 times with a wash and wax, the Meguiar's Ultimate Wash and Wax. Washing, rinsing, 50 times. I think there's even a video of that somewhere. And then I removed the tape, and then I saw nothing happened. Nothing. There's no added gloss whatsoever. And that's how I got into testing, because first I published those results because I thought there's not a lot of information, there's not a lot of critical testing of all that stuff. Let's share that. And I shared it in the official Mercedes AMG forum. Didn't got a lot of response there. Then I shared it in the online forum of a YouTube channel that's 83Me2 it's called. It's a German channel, still a rather big one. He's losing a bit of, let's say, reach and credibility now, but he was the biggest one there. Didn't get a lot of feedback there. And then I shared it in the Xaron FR. Xaron FR, that's what the channel was called back then. I shared it in that Facebook group and then got a lot of feedback, especially from the guy who was running that group and that YouTube channel. And then that's how we got in contact. So I still, for about a year, shared all my testing results. Car shampoos, regular ones versus matte ones, spray waxes, paste waxes. I applied everything to that car. And nothing changed the gloss of it. And then at some point I said to Sebastian, that's the name of the guy who runs the channel until today, hey, I have all those products. I don't do the video, you do the videos. I can send them to you. And I sent it to them. And it was about 1 year, 1.5 years he had those products and there were no videos. And I said, Sebastian, do you use those products? And he said, absolutely, but I don't have a matte car. They are so rare, I can't get my hands on a matte car. Don't you want to visit me and then we will do those videos together? The issue was he lives about 800 kilometers, 8.5 hours drive away from me and said, yeah, okay, why not? Let's do it. I drove up there. And from the first moment on, that was the beautiful thing is, I got out of the car into his place and he welcomed me with open arms. We hugged.
Like-minded people.
Like-minded people, without us ever meeting in person before. That was a very magical moment. He still talks about that today. And that was the start of my, let's call it video career. We did, let's say about 10 videos about matte paint. We did all the experiments I did, caught them on video, published them. And then when it was time for me to leave, Sebastian said, let's not just break it up there. Why don't you go home? You have an iPhone. It's completely sufficient. I give you some microphones. Why don't you do videos at home? And that's when it all started. I got home. I started doing videos, funnily enough, in my own living room. I got myself a scrapyard hood. And then I did a comparison of 35 different clay bars on that hood. 35.
35.
Yeah, 35 different ones. I got all the ones there are because I thought there's no added value if I just get 10 if there are 35 available on the market.
Okay, this is why I love
got all of them.
This guy, when he goes testing, I mean, you can rely on that he's going to test thoroughly.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So 35 different ones. The whole video material was a series of 10 videos. The whole video material, I edited it last year and put it all together. It was 5 hours of video material. So testing, cleaning power, how the clay bars behave, how much they cost, how they react to different clay loops, because some of them start to disintegrate when you use it with different stuff. I baked them in the oven to see how they react to heat, for example, all that stuff.
Until what temperature did you go? And
120.
Could you share if there was anyone that started either bubbling, exploding?
No bubbling, but some of them really started to melt down and were unusable after that. So that's the whole testing I did. Looking at it today, it doesn't look very professional. I'm sitting at my own table in my own living room, but I think the test was good. And the testing results were still valid.
I think people are focusing a little bit too much on what's happening behind in the background, and it should focus a little bit more on the information. Please listen. Listen. Close your eyes. You will not visually get distracted. Just listen very well.
Moving forward, skipping a period. I'm now at a point I did about 1,000 videos. It was about, I think, 5 or 6 years I'm doing it. Our channel publishes 1 video per day at least. That we have to say.
Shit, 1,000 videos. My God, I'm not even on 1/3. I think. My God, not even.
It's a tough schedule. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, but we want to continue that 1 video per day. That's why I'm at 1,000 right now. About 1.5 years ago, Sonax contacted me because Sonax has an international master trainer program. So those are people that already are in the detailing scene, know a lot of stuff, and Sonax trains them for a couple of days even further, especially in regards to their own products, of course. And then those master trainers train other people in their respective countries. They can either be hobbyists, but mainly professional detailers who want to get accredited as a Sonax authorized detailer, which is a fancy way of saying you know how to use the Sonax products. Yeah. That's all there is.
I mean, it's basically what we do as well.
Exactly.
You give some information, you try to say this is the strong points.
Exactly.
You warn them if there's something they need to think about.
Yeah.
And then just it's basically giving them the confidence to work with the product.
Exactly. Yeah. And putting an official label on that. That's what I'm doing in Switzerland. I have been doing for about the last 1.5 years. It has been about slightly over 50 trainings we did in that period. I'm doing it with a good friend of mine. Then half a year ago, I also became a Ledermax master trainer. Those guys are specialized in leather care and repair, and they are, believe me, they are the gurus in leather care. If you think you know someone or brand that knows about or allegedly knows about leather, rethink.
You have one guy in that Ledermax that's an old guy. He's an old school leather dude, right? This
Both
is
of them are. They
both.
worked in the tanneries. They produced the leather. And that's the main difference. No other company has that. They all started at some point. They have different backgrounds, then they got into leather. They know a lot, but believe me, the amount of stuff that those guys know, it's incredible. They created the leather from bare cow skin to the finished product.
My God.
And that's the main difference. I can tell you, leather is a different topic. If you think you know all about detailing, leather is a completely different subject.
Separate.
It's
totally
completely separate.
There are some similarities, of course, when we're talking about top coat and versus a clear
cleaning
coat
and
or
stuff,
everything.
yes, but
in the build-up and in the maintenance
it
and
starts
everything.
to get interesting with the repair. The stuff you can do there is
Funny
amazing.
thing that the leather is actually what brought us together. Something about leather brought us together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's the point. The last thing I wanted to mention is I also write English blog posts for Stiana Gloss, for Detail Freaks and a Canadian brand called Detail. And that's where it all started with us.
Yeah.
Because I'm rather engaged in, let's say, 3 or 4 English-speaking Facebook groups. I give a lot of answers there. And I also write posts because I simply, physically, time-wise, cannot redo all the videos we do, which are in German, in English too.
Yeah,
that would be impossible.
crazy.
I do some of them which I feel are important and relevant and interesting for the English-speaking community as well. I do them in English, I upload them, but not all of them. That's why I engage in those Facebook groups to give the knowledge I have also to those guys. That's why sometimes I write very extensive guides. One of those guides was about leather care, leather cleaning, leather repair, to spread a bit of truth about leather. I shared that in the groups I'm in, and then it was about 3 months after that original post of me, I saw that someone linked to an interesting post about leather care and repair in the official Labo Cosmetica Facebook group. I thought, great. My knowledge seems to start to spread. But then I read that post by another guy, which was one-to-one copied from my post, but he exchanged the product recommendations from what I recommended to the Labo Cosmetica products, which I thought was a bit out there.
Well, in German they say frech. It's a little bit, you know. Yeah, that's
it was a bit out there.
Ballsy move.
It was a very ballsy move. And then I contacted that guy and said, "Hey, that's not really fair. You took my stuff. That's and you used it for another brand, which is it's a ballsy move." Didn't get a response from him. I thought, well, it was shared in the official Labo Cosmetica Facebook group. He seemed to be somewhat affiliated with the brand. Let's write an email to Labo Cosmetica. It was a rather harsh email, I have to say. But it was, in fact, a copyright infringement. And that's our running gag we have. It all started with a fucking copyright infringement.
It absolutely did. But after you sent me the original post, and I, of course, then I'm also very hesitant and really untrustworthy. So somebody can claim something. And then you sent the original post, and I read both of them. And indeed, only about 6 words changed. The suggested products turned into Derma and Derma Sealant,
which are your Labo Cosmetica products,
And that's basically, and then because of the brilliance of the lawyer, that turned into something that is a copyright infringement, into a collaboration that ended in the 2 persons.
Exactly, because to make it short, I wrote that email, I got an answer from your lawyer, we discussed a few things, and that ended up in the collaboration we have now, and ultimately in this podcast.
Yes.
Because we found a way to work together instead of fighting each other in court. And I visited you, we did some videos for our channel, and the main thing I visited, for me at least, I think for you as well, is this podcast. Because we thought there are, and that's the whole story. Turn something controversial, maybe negative, into something positive.
Yes. And it's like the words are going to be thrown out there. Like I said, we are not here to bash anybody.
No, we are trying not to insult anyone. No.
We cannot cover everything. But my focus is, of course, mostly for the professionals, to make them more effective and more fast and less chemical costs and everything, and more safety and whatever. There will always be a controversy. Say yes, but I have more time, and from a commercial point of view versus a person that has all the time in the world and a hobby guy.
Yeah.
So we always have some little bit of yes or no, or I'm not agreeing. But the most beautiful thing about that is you can like blue, I can like red, but we could still be friends.
Exactly. And that's what we want to try with that podcast. As Reggie said, we don't want to insult anyone.
No.
We will always tell you if it's our personal opinion.
Yeah.
We'll always separate between opinion and actual physical scientific facts, because you can talk about that and you have to separate them. And if we are going to ruffle some feathers, well, that's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah. And it's 11 January today, ladies and gentlemen, 2024. It might be even so that the things that we are going to state in these podcasts might become totally ancient history in about 4 or 5 years. Maybe we talk now about leather care as leather care is today. We talk about ceramic coatings as ceramic coatings are today. It might just even be that in 5 years, nobody even uses a ceramic coating anymore because there is a product or a substance that has been invented that's going to take away all these issues. So for now, we are doing what we can to understand what is going on, share the opinions, and like I said, don't insult anybody. It's not from that. We try to learn from the things that we are seeing and improving from that, because that's the evolution.
Yeah.
And the
not insulting anyone, but it will be direct. It will be sometimes probably hard, because that's the thing. We won't refrain from naming and telling things.
No.
We won't to have a talk where we say, yeah, we saw a brand that did that, and we saw a YouTuber. No, we will name them.
Yeah.
And in fact, the second episode we do will be about an extremely current and extremely controversial topic.
Exhausting
about something, about something that happened right now and is still happening right now. We can give it away. It will be about the Cerakote, let's call it the Cerakote disaster.
The Cerakote disaster.
That is happening right now, and we will tell the names of the people involved there.
Absolutely.
That's what this podcast is all about. Veritas, truth.
Truth.
So I hope you now understand who we are, what our backgrounds are, how we are placed or situated in the detailing industry. And if you think that's not enough for us to talk about those things, that's okay. That's your opinion.
Absolutely.
We have ours, and you will hear a lot of our opinion in that podcast.
And we are welcoming your opinion as well, because
Yes.
there is nothing more beautiful that I think is that if I'm convinced about a certain thing that might be the truth today, because I have not seen the proof of it being done another way. If you are that person that says, my God, Reggie, you are using ancient technology, ancient techniques, I've got something for you to make it well. Please share that.
Absolutely. Write it in the comments.
Give it to me. Make sure that I can take it all over the world. I visit so many countries where I can give this information.
Yeah.
I will definitely get you the credit when credit is due. I will never say it's my idea. I will definitely say, if we had discussed yesterday something about polishing with the sugar clump.
Yep.
Perfect, beautiful. This next time I'm going to say that tip. This is the guy that gave it to me. And then make it more a community instead of everybody bashing and fighting each other with the nonsense.
As we said, we will try to achieve the same thing that brought us together, a better thing, an advancement of the whole detailing industry by controversy.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can achieve that. This helmet, which is standing back there, it's the one from the Gladiator movie. Not the actual Gladiator movie, but it's a remake. That's the perfect symbol for this podcast. We are a bit rebellious, we are strong, we are proud of what we do.
True.
And that's why this one is on the thumbnail of those videos and those podcasts. If you enjoyed it, we hope you did. Let's share that. But this episode 0 was more to give you an idea about what we are. And the very first episode will start with a bang. It will be a really... the title itself is a controversy in itself, which is Gloss, the biggest lie in the detailing industry. That's what we will talk about in the first one.
Definitely. I'm going to show you some stuff we do here at Labo Cosmetica as well about this subject. And we will discuss it a little bit more thorough about indeed what is actually the biggest lie inside of the industry.
Cool. I hope you're looking forward to that. And to the listeners on all the podcasts, thank you for listening. If you saw the video, thank you for watching. And we hope to see you in the next one. Ciao.
Bye.